evening and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur, my fellow winners, my fellow night owls, and my fellow Tottenham fans. This evening, it's a great one and it's a joy. It's a pleasure to bring you the post-match reaction to Tottenham's utter domination of Man United, of course, winning 2-0. I'm absolutely all over. I'm buzzing, and hopefully you guys out there are too. As you can see, we have Mia with us from Spurs Between the Lines to discuss today's events. Also, Jacob from United Spurs of America, and the one and only Nick. You might know him as Lazy 8, so we've plenty to get into. First, I want to bring up the match stats today and just show you how much we dominated today's game. Of course, we had 17 shots compared to United's 22. 6 on target for us, 6 on target for United. Possession, 57% to United's 43%. 5 corners to United, 6, and big chance created, 3-4. But look, we come out victorious. So that is today's match stats. Absolutely buzzing over that. And then later on, we will be asking the guys to pick out their man of the match. So there's a couple of options for everyone to have a look at now. And then let us know who your man of the match is. But look, let's welcome a few people in, and then let's crack on with the Power Hour. Davey Schreier is back again. He says it's awesome. Big up, Davey, my man. I'm absolutely pumped. We've got Dermotron from THFC Till I Die. Was without power all day. Only saw the last 10 minutes of the game. But boy, I have my Spurs back. Conte, who is he? We have Ange. May he stay for a long time. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Dermotron. Pity about the power, my man. Wrong day for it to go out. Biggest win in years. Lily White Lane, big yourself up, my man. He says, yes, lads, we have our Spurs back. Big up, brother. Great to see you. Richard Sarr is a monster. We'll get in and talk about him for sure. Christopher B says, hello, lads. Big up, my man. Jimothy can't get enough of Ange ball. All over it, my man. All over it. Tyler says, come on, you Spurs. We are back to playing beautiful football. Jazz Fusion says, over 2 games, the energy advantage in the second half has belonged to Spurs. Good point, my man. Very good point. Martin Knightsbridge says, oh, yeah, boys, what a game. My missus was happy. It didn't ruin her birthday dinner. But first of all, happy birthday to Mrs. Knightsbridge, first of all. Hopefully you had an absolutely fantastic day. But, Martin, I hope you picked the table with where your seat is facing the TV, my man. Hopefully you got to watch that game. Big up, Martin. Absolutely love it. Great to see you. Tottenham LSG says Ange ball is a breath of fresh air. Imagine if we didn't have our front three of subpar and out of form for a year forwards. We'll get on and talk about that. Ian Cook, my man, is back. Big up, Ian. He says, hello, lads, and everybody in the chat. I absolutely love Ange ball. Fantastic performance. We have got our Spurs back. Come on, you Spurs. I see a lot of people saying that, my man. Tequila says, screw United. That's it. Carry on. Big up, Jazz, or Tequila. Chris says, still buzzing. We got our Tottenham back. Daniel Horton, big up, my man. Says, our Spurs are back. Our midfield is unmatched. Big up to our 29, a.k.a. Sarr. Big up, Daniel. I think you're the guy from Alaska. Robbie Keane says, to see Sarr, Basuma, Dorsey, and Vicario like that brings confidence within the fans of winning something this season. All we need to do is just consistency until the end of the season. Let's see if we can get that going, my man. Absolutely love it. We also have Big Shug. Says that was too much like football for my liking. Big yourself up, my man. We have John Oi or OO, whatever. He says, evening all, great result today. Brilliant result, my man. Absolutely brilliant result. And then there's a few people cracking me up as well. Tequila says, right now, I see Dave trying to start the stream, whereas Jacko's on his couch clapping and dancing. Rate him in, Dave. It's hard. When we win, he gets out of control, my man. You can't stop him. Vandal, big yourself up. Great to see you in the chat, brother. Same as Side Dancer as well. Peter Ange, great to see you. Keith Edwards as well, my man. Big yourself up. Mick Hermanlock. Paul Martin as well. Jesus, loads of you all, you night owls. Rob Wallace says, are we carrying Richie? And where's Sonny put the young Argentinian in for a few minutes to build up to him? I'm going to start that comment, and we will get on to that, Rob, for sure, my man. Big up Jazzy Jones as well. Great to see you. Coronation Street, Oasis, and whatever else you Manx are famous for. We done you. Down you, 2-0. We done you. Absolutely love that, my man. Rub it in. Enjoy it while we can. Also, big up Carl Simpson, Eamon Burns, Dunkels Torque, and Dara Bradford as well. Great to see you in the building. THFC Brown. Tin Man, did you go? Let me know if you went, my man. He says, big up, Dave. No wonder Paratici's going to prison by literally stealing a Doji and Sarr for under 40 million. Come on, you Spurs. I love it. Also, big up, Mafi Mac, Salah Ahmed, Did you get to the game, though, Tin Man? Do let me know, bro. Also, Mark Field, Star Wars, brilliant. Big up Simon as well. He says the future's bright, and it is. And also, big up the Iceman. How can I forget the Iceman? And also, Paddy Harney, Ethan Gents. I hope you're all well. I can send you signed programs from today if you want. Yeah, with your signature on it. He was on page. I can't remember what page it was, but Paddy was in the match day program. Big yourself up, lad. Richard Evans and Chris Peters as well. Welcome in. But as you can see, we are all super excited. So we are going to kick into it. We're going to do a quick power hour and talk about today's game. Do you know what, Nick? We'll start with you. Usually we have you on at half time. But we still have to get that image set up to get you back on at half time. I know people are missing you. So are me and Jack, to be honest with you. So we'll start with you, Nick. Ange's first 3 points come at home against Man United. Before we break down this game, how excited and buzzing are you right now after that win, my man?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. And, I appreciate you missing me, buddy. But, there's a song I just can't get out of my head. It goes like this. There's a Sarr boy waiting on the bench. He's mustard and you know it. Put him in Ange, be a mensch. Let all the yiddos boogie. Let all the yiddos boogie. Let all the yiddos boogie. That's, had to do it right there, man. But listen, it's this is the kind of performance that we were hoping for, man. Completely two different teams, two different styles of play between Brentford and Man United. And I got to say, I was worried to see what we deal with, how we deal with the low block, and how do we deal with the team that comes at us. United certainly don't have the bite that they usually do when they come to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're still a little bit out at sea organizationally, but they were still dangerous. They could not handle our midfield.
Yeah.
How many times have we said in the past couple of years, well, we just lost the midfield, man. Our midfield was nowhere, couldn't get organized, et cetera, et cetera. They could not handle the midfield. That's what I'm so excited about right now, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Many people are probably sick of hearing me say it. You win the midfield battle, you usually end up dominating the possession and winning the game. And that's exactly what panned out today. Look, interesting enough, I thought United, done very well taking Basuma out the game in the first half. But second half, once he got free of Bruno Fernandes, he absolutely ripped it up, Nick. Mia, look, while it's a 2-0 win, did Spurs deserve the win? Were we the better team today?
Yeah, we were. I don't care what Man United fans are saying. They're just really salty. Honestly, the ones I've listened to and I've spoken to, I'm like, I'm not having any of it. They were like, we should have got a pen. Wasn't a bloody pen. I don't know what you're chatting about. In that second half, we absolutely bossed them. Did you see Ten Hag? He was literally scratching his head. He didn't know what to do to change it up. He threw on different substitutions to try and change it up to make it better. And it just didn't work because we were absolutely bossing it. Did you see those little patterns of play? They couldn't even get the ball off us for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we were just, oh my, how was that? How good was that to see? Honestly, that was just like brilliant. It was just like, we think we're Man City doing all these lovely little passes. They can't get the ball off of us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, they looked like it was like men against boys, basically, in that second half. That's what I would say. And the man that did boss it in the middle was literally, he's only a 19-year-old young guy, and he bossed it against their midfield. A young guy like Sarr did it, like look how good he was for a 19-year-old boy, mate. He was brilliant. I was so impressed with him, and I've been saying it for ages on my channel. When we had contact, I kept saying we need to play Sarr. We need to go. I'm going to go back on my videos and see how far back I was saying it, because I know I was saying it for so long. So I'm so glad that he's getting his chance, because he really is good, Sarr.
For sure, and we'll definitely get into a bit more on his performance. He was absolutely outstanding. A 19-year-old dominating Casemiro, Eriksen, Fernandes, that little pipsqueak Mount. Absolutely unbelievable performance from the guy.
Can I just say, Mount has got one of those faces only a mother could love. Honestly, I just want to. His face is so annoying. He's got like
Don't
really
forget what
annoying
Mickey
face.
Van de Veen did to Mason Mount there in the middle of the pitch. He took that man's lunchbox and his ankles home with him, so hopefully he'll remember that next time.
Jacko said he got the yellow card today for his horrific haircut. I definitely agree with that, for sure. For sure. But Jacob, did you go into this game with confidence today? Did Spurs outperform, or did they just meet your expectations?
I think obviously exceeded my expectations. I never once thought we were going to walk away with a clean sheet. I thought we were a perfect opportunity for Manchester United to start banging goals through Rashford, start figuring out their link up between their spine that they have there. I thought it was a good chance for them to do it because of past examples of what we've seen. But this is super NES, Dave. This is new era Spurs, and we all just got to get on the train. I mean, anyone who's doubted the train, there's still room, plenty of links left on here to hop on, because people who doubted Ange when he first came in, he's unproven. He ain't done this. What are you saying when Eric Ten Hag came in? Oh, this is exactly what United need. This is the elite manager, the world-class manager to instill his philosophy. How long has he been there? He's still instilling his philosophy, or what? And we've had Ange. We've barely had Ange inside the building, and he's transformed our squad, made players out of the likes of Basuma and Sarr, and long may it continue. I love what we're seeing. But when you ask, I didn't think we'd keep a clean sheet. But you know what? I think also, just real quick, Guglielmo, whatever his name is, Vicario, that man is answering all the questions. He's heeding all the calls of doubt. And he said, don't worry, I'm the madman between the sticks, and you can trust me. And you know what? I love it. He plays wild and free like I used to play between the sticks, Dave. So honestly, watching this young man shine, I'm so happy for him, because a lot of people were hard on him last week. Undeservedly. I thought he was decent last week. Neither of the goals I blamed on him. Definitely not a penalty in your Premier League start. Do I expect you to save that? Hell no. So there's a lot of questions being answered. And there's another thing that I want to add to this whole positive pie we're brewing here. The back line. I know there was some mistakes. I know we looked shaky from time. But this is the 180 in our back line today versus last year. Oh my goodness. I know we've got Ugodi and Mickey Vicky out there. So we do look different, but I just got to give my props to his back line. I mean, there's tons of man of the match performances out there. It's almost hard. Used to be last season we're struggling to pick 3 candidates to pull man of the match from, whereas now it's like we don't have enough options in a poll to see who the man of the match was. So I love it. Long may it continue. Super NES.
I want to do a quick little shout out to Romero, because I thought he was very, very good today. He was really, really good today, Romero.
He was absolutely.
It shows what you can do when you have more confidence in the players around you. And we've seen it before from Romero. At the beginning of the season, the beginning of last year's season, he was great, and shit started to tail off as the whole team became undone.
He started to learn.
I think we're going to see a lot more.
Yeah, Nick, it's like he started learning who the people were, right? When you come into it, you're new, you're fresh, you trust them, you're just out there having a ball. And that's what we saw that first season. Whereas I think he saw them long enough, was like, I don't know if I can trust this guy over here. So I think I agree with you, Nick.
We've seen it. Everybody likes Dyer for the first 2 weeks, and then you get to know him.
Nowhere near the 18 for 2 weeks in a row. Talk to me nicely.
Yeah. Man. Unbelievable.
It's what I've been saying, over the last few years, and especially last year with Romero and Dyer. Football, a lot of it is based on partnerships, and you're only as good as your partner is sometimes. And look, Romero and Van der Ven, it looks like they're hitting the ground running. I think at one stage, there was a lovely bit of communication before them. I noticed it where Romero looked like he went to get on the ball. I think Mickey Van der Ven told him to leave it, and he took control of it. And you could see them clicking. You can see them enjoying it the more the game went on. Anything that went in behind, he dealt with. He was superb in the air as well today, Romero. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And look, Mia, since you brought it up, do you think Romero is benefiting from now being one of the trusted leaders of this squad?
Yeah, I think that some people, obviously, I was one of those ones who said maybe that's not the greatest ideas, but he seems to have taken it really on board, and he's definitely he seems to have calmed a little bit, maybe because he has got that trust in the other men around him. But yeah, I think it has done him some good, knowing that he has got that responsibility. It appears so anyway so far. That it has. And that picture that you put on the group about him being all right, that beautiful face, man. All I love to see is Romero's beautiful face smiling. I've got to be honest.
Stop. We all love that. We all love that. Jacob, Vandal says, Jacob wearing the epic away kit.
Yes, sir. This has been one of my favorite. I thought I'd bring out the last great away kit that we've had. I loved our away kit last week. So I didn't like it when the leaks were coming out and I seen it at first. I was like, ew, I don't like this. But obviously the Spurs effect usually takes over and I see the lads wearing it. But this also one of my last funny moments with Kane was when he wore this shirt, kicking the Coke bottle. Got a nice little photo from that. So love
Classic.
this.
Classic.
Love the kid.
Yeah. You know, if you had a few space cakes, you wouldn't want to be looking into that too intently. But you know, look, big up, Vandal. Great to see you in the building. And Rob Wallace, we'll all answer Rob Wallace's question as well. Big up, Rob. Hopefully you enjoyed that, brother. Just quickly before we do, so I don't lose them. Davy Shire, he's at it again. That Davy Shire, he's at it again.
Big up, Davy Shire, man. Big up.
Gifted 5 Irish Hotspur memberships. He's gifted them too. So if you are a recipient and you're watching, please big up the man, Dave himself. It's Kevin Ferguson. Great name. Any relation to Evan Ferguson. Wilton MacDonald. Dome. Craig Bowler is the recipient of one. Big up, Craig. Jeff Ives is the recipient of one as well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there you are. If you are tuning in, you are watching, please thank Davey. Big up my man, absolute legend. But look, we'll take Rob Wallace's comment here and then we'll keep moving on. He says, are we carrying Richie? And where's Sonny? Put the young Argentinian in for a few minutes to build him up.
I thought Sonny was good. If I'm honest, I thought he's much improved. If we look at what he did last week versus this week, and last week I didn't think he was completely awful in the second 45. So I think we're seeing him start to mesh into this squad more. There was that moment, if everyone remembers, with James Maddison where they were clearly not on the same page, thinking two different things. Those things get worked out. And then you know what? Maybe it's another strike on target that we got from someone. You never know when the things start linking up properly. But we're still working on linking up together. And once we've sorted it, it's going to be even better than we saw today. So I have no doubt about Sonny. The whole where's Sonny? I mean, when he got played down the middle, I'm sure you knew where he was. He looked fantastic going down the middle for the sample size that we saw. I would like to see it maybe a little earlier on when he has a little bit more legs under him. But Sonny, I thought he had some good passes. There was a moment there where he found Kulusevski clearing the ball on a corner. Usually you're just booting it to high heaven and hoping no one gets it. And he dropped it in like it was Harry Kane leading the lineup there. And I love to see that kind of thing. So I think once he's and everyone's better on the same page, we're going to see a lot better Sonny, a lot better. Madison was great. We're going to see a lot better Madison too, because there was times where, I mean, you saw it. Him and Destiny Ugodi, they both got in the way of Son in the box, and then he kept, stepping and stepping, trying to find that lane because the defenders were there too, and he was trying to weave through Tottenham players. So it was a little strange of a situation. I think those things get worked out over time, in my opinion. So I'm not worried. Yeah. The Richarlison thing, now that is the conversation that's going to be the hot topic, I think, for the week because, not good in any facet, I thought, today.
For sure. Nick, anything you want to say on that?
As I said last week, man, Son needs a little bit of. This is a whole new ball game. Same position, but a different ball game for him, man. He needs time to bed into what is expected of him because he has different responsibility with the captaincy, and he has a different remit as far as to what he does when he's on the ball and when he's off the ball. We're seeing better. I keep having to remind myself that this is just the beginning. These players aren't even bedded in yet at all. Yeah. This is only going to get better, and these people are going to get better as they get more used to playing with each other. The Richarlison situation is the elephant in the room, man. And it's just, I don't know if you want to get into it now or keep going later, but I want to give Richie more time, but we just do not have time right now. We have to make positive actions right now. Yeah. All 4 goals in our 2 Premier League games came from other than our front 3. That's concerning to me. It's great that we're getting those goals and great that we're getting results, but nobody in the front 3 has scored, and that's just odd. We got to get something done immediately and hope Richarlison catches up. But I'm starting to think he's running out of time.
I say one more match for me. I don't know where the rest of the panel. I'm saying one more match for Richie.
Mia?
How many more matches?
I would probably say one more because I think that gives him an adequate opportunity, doesn't it? Then
3
I feel
starts.
like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably fair.
Do you
Well,
know what?
one more match, and then what? Then what happens after that? So, do you then move Son into center? Because what if we don't have Gift Orban by? So next match is Burnley, or is it?
It's
Do we know?
Bournemouth. It's Bournemouth at Vitality.
Bournemouth and then Burnley.
And then no, it's Carabao and then it's Burnley. They've rescheduled the Carabao thing.
So we've got
okay.
Yeah, we've got Bournemouth.
I would actually
we've got Sheffield, and then we've got Burnley. So
for me, I start him in the next two matches, but I possibly give him the hook if things aren't just gelling by the first half in either one of them. But I'm definitely starting him in both. But without a doubt, I'm not sitting on the fence as to whether we got to get Gift Orban in or somebody else. Vlahovic, I don't think that's happening. But get the Orban deal done now. Doesn't matter whether you're starting Richie or not.
I think the reason why I said one match, Nick, wasn't because if he goes out and we saw what we saw today, then that's it. We gave you 3 starts in a row. You were non-contributing in any facet, really, in either. And if he does it again. But you know what? You give him that one more chance because, again, this is the guy you have to put your arm around and give him a little pat on the back and to get a tune out of him. So if Ange completely pulls the plug on the Richie project, then I think we'll never that's 60 million gone immediately, in my opinion. I think one more start. Here's your chance. I know you were pissed coming off, so you got 60 more minutes to prove why you should have stayed on. And that's because everyone saw him upset coming on the bench. But my point being, why one more? That you look at it and say, look, it's been 3 starts in a row, 3 stinkers, and now but regardless how he does, whether he gets a hat trick versus at the Vitality Stadium or not, I think you need a Gift Orban. We need another attacking option.
Yeah, we need another option.
Absolutely.
That's going to put fear. Yeah.
Do you know,
we need another.
I would actually give them the next 3 games. You've got Bournemouth, you've got Burnley, you've got Bournemouth, Burnley, and Sheffield United. For me, I'd give them them 3.
Just a Carabao Cup in there.
Yeah, but the Carabao Cup, I'd expect maybe some of the kids to start, maybe a David Scarlett or something like that.
And that's Fulham, right?
It is at Craven Cottage.
Fulham away.
So that's not Mitrovic just left as of like an hour ago. So they're going to be weak.
They got Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore. They're going to be all right.
No, they won't, Jacob. They won't. They couldn't do it at
Don't worry. Don't y'all worry.
So, just to put a cap on it, though, or just to, I understand your reasoning 100%, Jacob, without a doubt. But my question is, though, what do you do after that one? Do you move Stun into the center? Let's say we don't have an incoming that's ready to go, hit the ground running immediately. So is the option then to move Son into the center?
Absolutely.
Or is it something else? And then do you start Paratici on the left, or what do you do on the left?
I know the club are pinning their hopes highly on Valise, and they're keeping Dane Scarlett around until this guy develops. So,
that's true. Yeah.
I reckon that could be the case. They're going to
and I don't see why not. Somebody, I don't forget who put it in the comment in the chat before, but seeing 10 minutes of Valise at the end of that match might have done a hell of a lot of good. And that was the kind of match, especially at the end, where United was looking very leggy, very tight, and looking out of ideas. You put a young kid like that in there who's a threat, and you let Perisic just try to ping something at his head. You can make something happen.
But the thing is, Ange did say we won't see him until the latter half of the season because he needs to acclimatise. He did say that about him.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'm not up on the backstory on Valise as much as I'd like to be.
Yeah, look, it depends. It depends how quick he sort of adjusts. But look, I would like Tottenham to go into the market and have a look, see what they can get. But let's wait and see what happens on that. Just quickly, Davy Shire, he's done it again. Recipients of 5 IrishHotspur memberships. Wow, Davy, my man. Wow. He's blown my mind. Shawnee Maddox, Leo and Lego, Hotspur J, John and Mud FC and Kev Williams. All recipients, please big up Davey in the chat. Absolute legend. Absolutely amazing. That's absolutely crazy. He's been on it, my man. Big up, Davey. You're very, very generous, brother. Very generous. Tinman 007 says, I was there, Dave. Great atmosphere. Let's hope now we can back Ange with a couple more top quality signings before the end of the month. Now, Mia, I want to throw Ange Postecoglou's words, which sort of go along with what Tin Man has to say here, and big up Tin Man. I've seen some of the scenes after in the concourses, the Postecoglou chants going. It looked absolutely amazing, and hopefully you were right amongst it, my man. But Mia, Ange Postecoglou said the atmosphere was incredible today. The energy the fans created was amazing and really helped us. We were a bit nervy and edgy in the first half, and they had chances. It's a really young team. We had 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, and it's really encouraging. We showed real resilience. We could have gone into our shell in the second half, but we didn't. Now, while we finished strong, would you, the way we started slow, does that make you nervous?
No,
And why do you think it was?
I think it's understandable. It's the first home game, and as he said, there's a lot of youngsters in there. There's people don't forget these players. This is some of their first ever home game for Tottenham.
True.
They played away, but it's their first ever home game, so it is probably a lot of pressure. And they are only human, so I feel that we've got to look at it from a human point of view. That they were a bit nervy, and I think it's understandable. So I'm not going to hold that against them and say, "Oh, I'm nervous now," because you saw how they grew into the game. So they got their confidence, especially when they started totting up the yellow cards, Man United. Our confidence grew a little bit, and then we hit the woodwork, and our confidence grew a bit more. And then after that we come out that second half, and we were just on it. We were on it so much more. So yeah, I think that it is understandable. It's the start of a new system as well that they don't know. Some of them are getting to know each other as people as well. So it is all very new for a lot of them. So it is. I do get it, and I'm not worried because it is understandable. It's like when you go to school and you meet all your new classmates for the first time. You don't know them. It's a bit nervy. You're a bit like, oh, it's a bit strange, isn't it? So I do understand.
Yeah, for sure. But look, like Ange Postecoglou says, it was great the way they showed that resilience in the second half.
Yeah.
But look, United threw something a bit differently at us, Mia. They sort of man-marked Basuma, right? And then last week it was all about, and the whole preseason's been about Basuma picking up the ball, transferring it, but they man-marked him with Basuma, and it looked like for a period of time, Romero and Van de Ven didn't really know where to push it into.
Yeah, they did struggle at first, definitely. And Van de Ven, he had like a few little edgy moments, and Porro as well. When Porro was getting past that ball, I was like, oh, God. And he wasn't very good with it. But yeah, they're all kind of like little edgy moments where it was really it was a little bit more difficult. And to play and passing it out as well. Like you say, when you haven't got Basuma getting onto that ball, it did make it a bit more difficult, definitely, for sure.
And it's even more testament into the team, the young team, how they came out and found a way around that. Absolutely incredible. Ian Cook with the big thumbs up, my man. Big up, Ian. Really appreciate the support, brother. And hopefully you're enjoying it. As people can hear, my voice is starting to slowly go. So I'm going to let the guests do the talking. I'm just going to ask the questions. But before my voice dies out, everyone, please smash that like button. If you're new, welcome, and smash that subscribe button. And feel free to get in a super chat with your thoughts. We'll bring them up on screen. So you guys usually create great talk points that I haven't even thought of. So feel free to do that and express yourself that way. But most importantly, get your comments in the chat, and we will bring them up as we go along. Jacob, we'll throw the next one at you, my man. When do you think Spurs started to take more control of the match, more impact?
I really thought there were flashes in the first half where it just looked like we were primarily trying to capitalize when we had a counterattack, whereas in the second half, it looked like we were going at them more. Now, I think that's a product of a few things. I think it's, one, Ange making the slight adjustments at halftime, getting the boys pumped up, ready to go for the second 45, which I've loved. And he's always alluded to the fact that they're always going to be playing for the next goal. Whether we're up 1 or down 2, you're always got to be playing for the next goal. And I think we see that because when we saw the substitutions, immediately it's like it injected life into Kulusevski. All of a sudden, he's making a great dash down the pitch. And this is a guy I've been waiting to see something out of. And I think by him doing these substitutions when he does them, it shows that if you empty yourself out on the field, I'll take you off, and that's a good thing. And I mean, you saw the reception Pape Matar Sarr got. That's just that's the little flavor I get is Pape, not Papa. So, but aside from that, I really thought that it's just the second half they were more reluctant to play their high line that we saw the entire first half. The entire first half, I thought they did a great job of putting us under pressure in our own half when we had the ball, and they're making it really difficult for us to play out of the back. But as things wear on, you really start to see, like in every sport, as the game wanes on, where's your head, where's your body? And they were starting to drop back. Then we capitalized on that space. There were a few times they sat back nicely and were just allowing us, waiting to see what we were going to do. And I think that's where a little bit of a problem comes in when it comes to Tottenham and our attack, because when the teams sit back, Brentford did it the entire 45 last week, second 45 I'm speaking of. But today, it was like for about 20 minutes there, Man United were just letting us come at them. And in those moments is when I want to see a breaking run through the middle. And we didn't really get that until they started playing out a little bit more, again, chasing the match after we went up 1-0. So really, I would say from the second 45, to answer your question in a long form, the second 45 is when I really started seeing a change in the way that we're playing. And it just seems, in a boxing match, when you get to round 6, 7, and 8, you start seeing what they're made of. Where's all the showboating and all the big talk about we've got the strongest 10, only one who gets in on our side is Son on the left. Where were they all at? Mason Mount was getting put on ice skates by Van de Ven. Udogie was taking, I don't know whose lunchbox he took, but he took someone's right before Van de Ven did.
Yeah.
Pedro Porro took Luke Shaw's a few times. It was a lot of fun to watch. That's what I'm, so many positives. There's only a couple negatives. There's always going to be a couple negatives, but man, so much to be excited about. Love the mentality of this squad. Keep going. We do not stop. We keep pushing for the next goal. I love that mentality. Not, okay, Jose Mourinho, I loved him, but we went up 2-0. All right, let's sit back. Let's invite them on. And then it's almost, when do you capitulate rather than if you capitulate? And I think all Spurs fans were a little worried the last 10 plus 9 minutes, the last 19 minutes of what we were watching. I think we were all a little bit nervous that we might concede, but you know what? You got to love the fight from the boys. Even the ones that came in, they look bright. They got their chance. They came in and they made an impact regardless. So Ben Davies, shout him out. That's not luck neither. I know I'm digressing into another point, but I don't think Ben Davies I don't think that's luck what he did. By the way.
Do you know what I've just seen? I've just seen Ben Davies, the picture on Insta with his baby, and he said that this is his first time at the game, and he definitely thought it was his goal. He thought it was his dad's goal. It's really cute because he's only a tiny bubba and he's holding him on the pitch. It's really cute.
Do you know what? I don't even think he could believe it. Do you see him pointing to, who was it that put the ball across? Was it Maddison? No, it wasn't Maddison. Who was it? Perisic. And he was pointing to Perisic trying to claim it. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, Nick, before we get into maybe, some of the VR decisions and then into some individual performances, I'll just, on that first half, why was it so shaky? Was it because United did man-mark Basuma and sort of asked a different question of us? Or was it because we were playing ourselves into trouble? Or a bit of both?
First and foremost, man, it's the same thing that I was feeling. And I think, man, the occasion, of this match, Ange's first game, our first game at home, so many new players, man. The occasion, I think, was a little bit much. I was on the edge of my seat. I thank God I didn't do the watch along because it would have been ugly, very ugly, man. You could see it in some of the players' faces right away, man. And I'm going to take Maddison actually as an instance. He had a very, very good game. However, in that first half, he wasn't playing like the natural Maddison we see. He wasn't playing with the confidence, and you saw a couple of errant balls, some passes that just weren't as sharp as he usually does. And I've noticed that when he was playing for Leicester too, every once in a while, it's not like he would go missing on the big occasions, but he would lose his concentration and he would let the occasion get to him. And I think that's what we were seeing from a lot of, particularly the midfield and on the wings. But when you get to the second half and Sarr shows up, because yes, he was playing, but he was all over the pitch, but he got specific instructions to draw the opposition away from Basuma. That opened everybody in the midfield up. That opened Madison up to do his thing and let everybody just have to feel the force of Basuma as he barrels through the center of that park. You can't touch him, because they're concentrating on this other kid who's popping up out of nowhere that they don't expect. Man, he's not a CDM. Is he really box to box? I guess so, but he has license to get into the box and do what he's got to do. So he's just this unknown threat, and he's going to open up space for guys like Basuma, who you can try to man mark him, but you can't do it the whole time when there's another two midfielders there.
For sure. Just quickly, Jazzy Jones saying, Dave, why am I paying for memberships when you're dishing them out? It ain't me dishing them out, my man. It's a different David. My last name is David Harris. That's David Shire. And by the way, just don't ever get confused. There's another David Harris on the cheese room, but that ain't me, man. I have nothing to do with David Shire. David Shire's just doing it off the generosity of his own back, Jazzy Jones. So just to clear that one up, my man, but it's not me dishing them out, brother. It's not. But no, absolutely, Nick, my man.
I feel a bit left.
And just a little bit at the end of that too, man. Just to throw it in there. United did similar to what Brentford did at the beginning of the first match. For the first 15 minutes, we looked a little bit scattered and scatterbrained because they were coming at us. They were trying to play their game, and we took a while to get organized. I'm expecting that to slowly work itself out over the next couple of matches. Sorry, Mia.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm a bit jealous because I haven't got my own Mia gang, as everyone else seems to have their own little gang of people, but there's no other Mias. So I'm a bit upset about this, actually. I need to find them. I need to find my peoples.
Look, they'll come, Mia. They'll come. Trust me. But Mia, we're sticking with you while we have you. There were a few VAR decisions and some missed opportunities from Man United, where Spurs are a bit lucky despite being so good in large periods.
No, you make your own luck. Like, that's the thing. Like, the way I see it is, Dave, is that they got very, very lucky last week, Man United, because that was 100% a penalty. This one was not a penalty. So, no, we didn't get lucky with that. And we had also chances. We hit the woodwork twice in 60 seconds. So you could say that we were also unlucky in that sense. So to be honest with you, I think it works both ways. So for all the Man United fans crying, saying that we were lucky, no, absolutely not.
Who was it? As Sugar Pebble says, it's karma. They robbed Wolves, so we got awarded one. I thought people were doing the Lord's work today. I told you all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I pray to the football gods, don't worry.
What were my quotes before the game? We are going to turn the Red Devils into Jesus Christ. We are going to turn wine back to water with the purity of Tottenham Hotspur football. And that is exactly what played out today. I'm all over it. Big up Kev Williams. And yes, them lyrics I do come up with all on my own. Big up Davey Shire. He says, come on, Aussies. Come on. He says, absolutely love this channel. Big up, Davey, my man. I really do appreciate the support, brother. You're really, really too kind. And everyone, please use them memberships to come on the fan show. But big up, Davey, brother. Now, look, guys, I want to ask a question. And look, I think everyone's going to want to stay on this. Jacob, and then we'll work our way around. We came out on the second half. First half, I thought near the end of the half, I thought we got on top. We started to look good. Second half, something changed. We absolutely dominated it from start to finish. Jacob, what happened? Was there a change tactically? Was it maybe something Ange said at halftime? What got them going in that second half?
I think it's an accumulation of everything, Dave. I think it's all that factored in with our fitness levels. We're willing to go 90 plus minutes at this pace, at this rate. And they were down to play like that for 45. They came out for the second 45 and they were not ready to keep up that pace. And I think that is why we continually saw the chances the domination that we saw from us in the second half. The first half was toe to toe because they were wanting that fight with us. They said, okay, this is how you're going to play. We're coming right at you. And they were on us. I mean, if you remember the first half, we couldn't touch the ball without having someone grabbing us, touching our back, giving us a little back scratch. I don't know what they were doing out there, but they were all over us. They wanted the fight. It's just long term, you're not that guy, pal. You didn't want to go the full 12 rounds with us. You only went half. And, I think that's what we're going to see. Also, the unpredictability of Ange Postecoglou is playing into this. I said before the season started, I assume that these first 3 to 5 matches, other managers aren't going to have enough game film to say this is what Ange is going to do in the Premier League. They could say, oh, this is what he did at Celtic versus X, Y, and Z. This is what he did when he was in Australia for X, Y, and Z. But Premier League game footage, how does he manage his club and his team tactics in a game, in a Premier League game? And I think the uncertainty, the unfamiliarity is definitely playing into our hands, as well as we saw a little bit of Man United. They just weren't able to finish their dinner. So I think it's an accumulation of everything that played factors into why we dominated them in the second half. But the first and foremost one I'm going to say it's because of the way we play. They thought they wanted that fight, and it turned out as the game broke down, the course of events showed they did not want that fight.
Nick, do you agree with Jacob on that? I mean, someone said it in earlier on. I think during the watch along in the chat where they were saying that Wolves gassed out last week as well. They didn't perhaps maybe look fit. Do you think that's the case, or do you think that Ange Postecoglou started them up at halftime?
I think he made some tactical decisions about how to get Sarr a little bit more into the game and to be more effective, because it clearly, as you pointed out early on, Bissouma couldn't exercise his legs really because he was being man-marked by there. So something had to happen there. But that was, in my opinion, what unlocked the entire game. That was clearly Ten Hag's game plan. That's the game footage that he's seen over the last couple of months is, this Bissouma guy, we got to watch out for him. We played against him at Brighton. We've seen his what he does through the middle there. So we got to lock him down. We're not so worried about the youngsters like Skip and this guy Sarr. He got undone by that, because I think once the midfield got unlocked, it opened up space for everybody else, and they weren't able to keep the press on the same way they did in the first half.
Yeah, 100%.
And talking of Onana, did anyone see his comments saying that apparently didn't think we were that good, and he said that they were better, basically, that Man U played better. I don't know what he's smoking.
Who, Ten Hag said that?
No, Onana.
Onana. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I saw Bruno Fernandes was complaining about the non-call for Christian Romero's handball.
Oh, he always complains anyway.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes complained about something? That's a shocking.
That's how he got himself a yellow, too.
They weren't complaining last week when Onana decided to take half of Wolves' team's head off. I mean, weren't complaining last week. Look, today they got justice. Onana, Fernandes, United fans, suck it up. That's what it feels like to be on the end of decisions. You benefited from them from about 30 years of my life. So just suck it up and enjoy it. And truth be told, is spot on. Tonight was more than 3 points. It was a statement win for this era. Absolutely spot on, my man. And then we have Daniel Horton. Big up, Daniel. The lucky guy who's living in Alaska. Says, would love to host a visit to Fairbanks. No one here to talk Spurs. Loving your start of the season. Big up to Ange. Look, Daniel, I would love to get over, my man. Unfortunately, I just don't have that sort of money to be making that voyage. That's something I'd have to save up for a once-in-a-lifetime trip. But look, I will make sure I get there before I die, my man. The place is absolutely amazing. But big up, Daniel. But look, I grew up in a small village here in Ireland, in Kilcullen, my man. I mean, barely no Spurs fans around apart from my dad and my uncle. So I definitely know what it feels like, brother. But this is the great thing about YouTube and these fan channels, and there's plenty of us, that, it can bring people together and we can all come and talk Tottenham, my man. So big up, Daniel. You're never alone. Once you're a Spurs fan, you're never alone. That's what I learned, brother.
Do you know what this is like? Basically, having a YouTube channel is like all your mates in a pub together, but from all around the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's like. Do you know what? Last year I could have done with drinking, especially with the way things panned out. But look, let's get on and talk about Pape Matar Sarr. I'm not going to hold you guys back anymore. He grabbed an early second half opener for us. Thoughts on his performance overall? What did he bring to the midfield today? And we'll start with you, Nick, and then we'll get me involved after. Because I have Ange.
He controls the ball, and his positional awareness is way above his age level. Is what it is. We only have the other people on our team so far to compare him to, and right now I think you compare him to Skip and Hojbjerg, really, and he's got more in his bag. Maybe he doesn't have the physicality of Hojbjerg, but actually what we saw today is he could hold his own shoulder to shoulder with anybody on that United squad. Bar down, even Casemiro, he was going, he's a big boy, even for 1920. So physicality, I think he's got it. He definitely does have the nous and the positional ability and the ability to take care of the ball and clearly to do something with it, to know when to run into the box. He's kind of like that, just that unknown factor now where he has freedom to move all around the pitch and just put out fires and be available to receive and move the ball forward. It's just, I got, so much anticipation really to see what happens next with Sarr. I want to watch him all the next game.
Yeah, he was absolutely incredible, Nick. And the first half, I just loved the energy, and you could see straight away what he provides and where all his skips sort of needs to get to in terms of impact on the game. Absolutely incredible performance. He was brilliant today. I loved it. And I knew you would as well, Nick. I knew you'd be sitting at home, practicing your best Daddy Long Legs impressions. It was absolutely brilliant. Mia, Postecoglou had to say on Pape Matar Sarr, he's been great from when I first arrived. He's got so much talent. He causes so many problems for the opposition. Look, he's one of Paratici's many signings in his short time at Tottenham Hotspur alongside a whole host of others. But before we get in and go about Paratici, Sarr overall, brilliant today, and he took his goal very well. Of course, he could add a couple of others like Nick mentioned as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I echo exactly what Nick said. He's strong, but he's deceptively strong because he looks slim, but he is a strong lad. And don't forget, he's still somewhat growing. He's still got a couple more years to grow yet into his body. And he's got his legs, my goodness. And when he gets that ball back, it's just, he does it with such ease as well. It doesn't even look like it's difficult for him. So he can get the ball, win the ball back. He can run with the ball. He takes people on. He can score. He seems to just have everything, the boy. Like, he's a little superstar. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely love him. And I've been saying about him for a while, like I said, because I see something in him. I think he's going to be a really good player, and he's still got stuff to learn, and he's still young. So it just shows you his level for now is very, very good. But we'll see where he goes with it. But I think his level for his age, you don't see many 19-year-olds bossing that midfield like he bossed it. You really don't.
What impressed me most, he bossed both sides of the game going forward and defensively mucking in, getting pressure on the ball. He absolutely bossed it. Jacob, my man, how good was this guy?
Ay, papi chulo. I don't know how to explain this man other than...
Jeez, don't say that again. You nearly gave me a hard on there, lad.
This guy, that's what he does when he plays. He like everyone said already, and this is the main thing that stood out to me from the very beginning when we saw him in substitute appearances last year's preseason, this year's preseason, and in the Milan game and the starts that he's got last season. So is that he can play a lot stronger than he looks. You look at the guy and you're like, man, I'd like to see him put on 5 to 10 pounds of some muscle. We'd really have a specimen there. He's long, and I just think that for being that long, he doesn't play like a player that it can, you know what I mean? When he has the ball and the defender's on his back and he's facing our goal, They don't get the ball off him. And when they did, he won it off them immediately back. That happened twice today that I remember. This guy plays strong. He plays like a grown man. He's 19,
Yeah.
20 years old. That's absolutely insane. He plays like a grown man. That's what Basuma's been showing, that he plays like a grown man. We've seen a whole new Basuma, but Papi, Papi, that's all I can say. I don't know what else. Nick said it perfectly. Mia said it perfectly. I agree with everything they said about Papa. This guy, long may it continue. We saw sprinkles of Stardust in the minimum appearances we got from him. We said there's something in there. No one wanted him loaned. Everyone said no, don't loan him. Let's see what we can get, and look what we can get. Home debut, not for him, but under Ange. I'm considering this a new leaf for everybody. So I'm like, everyone got a home debut today, is the way I see it, because it's new ball. And I think that's why they did the welcome to N17. So welcome, Pape Matar Sarr. He has arrived. Aye, Papi, long may it continue.
For sure. Davy Shire says Johnny from Tottenham on tour has been talking Sarr up for months. Wow. Yeah, look, I've only sort of come across Johnny recently. I think he's an absolute brilliant guest. I think, he's very, very knowledgeable as well and a very nice guy. However, my man, I've also been picking up Sarr for quite some time. And people that have been around here maybe a bit longer would also know that. I've been on about starting this guy last year. I've been telling people about how good he is. For me, he outshone Skip that night at the San Siro, and he should have been in the team ever since. And today, I've always been saying this kid just needs one chance to go out and express himself. He's going to take it, and he's going to be a mainstay in this team. And off the back of tonight's performance, there's so many other midfielders, Hojbjerg, Skip, and so they'll be worried tonight. They need to take their game to a new level. Big fire of Sarr over here. We've had plenty of nicknames, and even Nick comes prepared with songs for him, which we will be singing long into the night tonight.
Well, yeah, I was saying as well, I've done the same, Dave. Like, I've said the same for months, man. Like, I think there's a few of us who've noticed how good Sarr was and confused to why Conte never bothered to start him when he's got such a talented guy there.
Age,
no, I know, but it's a shame.
Conte didn't like playing youngsters. He didn't like playing youngsters. But
it's a shame that it's a shame for Sarr that he had to sit there, and we had that hidden gem there as well, and he's just sitting there on the bench. But now we know a Pape Matar Sarr is born. That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it. Star is born today. And look, the world's going to take notice of that performance tonight. Absolutely love it. Pape Matar Sarr, big yourself up, brother. Absolute legend. But Mia, this sort of brings me on to, well, Jack sort of wants me to ask this question. I don't really want to gloat about it, but he says Pape Matar Sarr is one of Paratici's many signings in his short time at Tottenham Hotspur, alongside Bentancur, Kulusevski, Romero, Emerson, Gil Messi. There's a lot more he left off the list. I presume his fingers were tired. He says, do you think Paratici's work is starting to get more appreciation or more notoriety?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's obviously taken maybe a little bit of time because people weren't sure about the signings that he's done, which is fair enough, right? I think we all kind of we can have our reservations, which I did have myself. I said to you, I was never really one way or the other with Paratici. I always sat in sort of the middle. I know splinters up my backside, but yeah, I was never really slagging him off completely, but I was never overly praising him. So for me, I think it's good. He obviously still working in the background getting us, because apparently with Alejo, he was a big he was somebody who really was big into getting him, so he was very involved in that as well. So yeah, I think that it's good that we're seeing these signings come good. Absolutely. I never want them to foul. I always want players that come to us to do well. I don't care who got them in. If they do well, they do well. Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure. Jacob Jazzy Jones says, okay, Spurs fans, were you surprised Hojbjerg came on for Skip? And just quickly, the truth be told, get some rest, my man. Paramedic work is very, very important. You're doing a great service to your country, my man. So go and get some rest, brother. Big yourself up. But Jacob, Jazzy Jones, were you surprised Hojbjerg came on for Skip?
No, I wouldn't say I was surprised, because I've always felt like that was what Hojbjerg's role with us was going forward if he doesn't get sold, is to be the guy to come off the bench and to potentially give us something different in the defense. I think he worsens our attack personally, but he did in the short amount of time that he did exactly what everyone who praises him about, he did that, and then what everyone knocks him about, he did that as well. So it's again, whether you get 90 minutes from Hojbjerg, you get 20 minutes from Hojbjerg, you're always going to get the things that you like about him and the things that you don't like. He had a couple cheeky turn and goes, and then a couple giveaways that almost led to a goal if United had a little more quality at the end of their
Oh,
boots.
my
Let's
Lord.
not forget. So
I know.
this is a guy that he's got quality. It's just I don't know what to say about him. I mean, does he want to be here? I don't know. But in every opportunity I've ever seen, he's always 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. And it's just like, if you want to be a team that just is there, I think he's good for that. But for what we're trying to do, he's never really fit the system. So people have been trying to get him out the door from the jump because of that. So he's got qualities. He's a captain of his national team, for Christ's sake, and he's been our most consistent midfielder in the past few years outside of this year. So, you know, there's qualities there. He's not a complete trash player, but he's so freaking frustrating. As someone who doesn't hate him or doesn't love him, I just get frustrated because I'm like, you do one good thing and then you do a bad thing. Then you do one good thing, then you do a bad thing. And it's just like, we can't have that. We do enough of that already. The least we can the minimize mistakes, maximize opportunities, right? And I don't know if he does either one of those.
Do you know, it was a shame. He was looking so comfortable until he gave that stupid pass away.
Yeah.
You know, it overshadows the performance, right, Nick? Because that's the only thing people are going to remember now sitting here tonight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I was actually surprised to see him, man. I thought it would have been Skip as a substitution. It's been my theory that we weren't going to see any of the possible departures that have established clubs putting in bids and really breathing down their necks. I didn't think we were going to see Lo Celso, Hojbjerg, Reguilon. Certainly not start, but even I'm surprised to even see him appear. I didn't think Hojbjerg did too bad when he came on for his cameo, except for that obligatory, has to happen piece of buffoonery. You know, it's just, you know, like it just shades like nightmares, flashbacks of the last 2 seasons. The difference is that if we had the back line that we've been playing with for the last 18 months, we'd have already conceded twice, and that back pass would have come in, and that would have been the end of the game right there. We would have lost the game right there because nobody would have known what to do. But we had people who were switched on enough to smother out that fire. Thank God for that, man. You know?
Yeah, geez. It was heart and mouth. It was. It really scared me. I was like, oh, Hojbjerg, don't do it. Don't be the downfall to this magnificent performance. But sticking with you, Nick, alongside Pape Matar Sarr today, there was Maddison and Bissouma. But, you know, all that tidy performances. What was the difference between the midfield performance today compared to the one at Brentford? Because I think we were much better today.
That's, you know what? I mean, we've been waxing lyrical, but I think it comes down to Sarr, really, because he offers so much more. I mean, it's Sarr, Skip, Sarr. I mean, you know, Skip puts in the effort and he's got the initiative, but he just does not have the tools in his bag. You know, he cannot hold on to the ball well enough, and he doesn't have the accuracy with the forward-thinking movement and passing that Sarr has. He just has it a little bit better. And he can hold on to the ball just generally a little bit better. You know, we talk about Bissouma with shades of Dembele. Sarr's movement over the ball, he's got that little slump forward as he's ticking along. You know, that reminds me a lot of the great Moussa Dembele, man. And I think that's really what it comes down to as far as the midfield goes. You know, as far as Maddison and Bissouma, you know, particularly in that first half, you know, you saw them being stifled a little bit. And when you were off there, I was talking a little bit about how Maddison, every once in a while, he kind of he loses the plot a little bit, and his crosses are a little bit off. You know, it's like he can't see a way through the opposition in front of him, and then he can snap back into gear, and that's what's great. You know, he doesn't lose it completely. You know, that second half, though, we saw a midfield that was working together, except for when I saw something that's going to really have to be worked out with this full-on attack flooding into the box system that we've got going here, we do see scenarios where players are in each other's way. And we see it,
Yeah.
we've seen it on the wings, and we've seen it in the center now. And that whole sequence where Son was cutting in, and it was Son back to Madison, Madison back to Son, Son in, Basuma's there. Nobody knows whether they should force their way in and take a shot off the ball. They leave it to Son. That kind of decision making has to be ironed out, without a doubt. And that positionally, we're going to have to get a lot better on that, because that was a goal. There should have been a goal in that sequence, hands down. It was wide open.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there. There's been so many times over the last, especially the last 2 games. I didn't think I've seen it as prevalent in preseason, but I think we're seeing it more now, and especially against Brentford and Man United. There are a lot of players sort of bumping into each other, getting into each other's way. But look, I think a couple more games, I think that should iron itself out. One thing I did ask for today, actually, and that I got before we move on and talk about the front three, is I asked for our midfielders to make runs beyond the edge of the box, and they've done that today. Madison done it, Sarr done it. Look at the amount of times they got into the box, and it did at times, especially when Madison done it. It freed up space to cut inside, and that was an absolutely huge plus today. So more of that. Nick, it's definitely something we need to iron out for sure, and something to keep an eye on. But look, Mia, we'll start with you. Let's talk about this front three today. Sort of the last talking point, and then we'll go around and get a quick question on the subs, and then we'll get everyone's man of the match. But look, the last match, the front three, look, they were all missing the last game, let's be honest. Do you think they were better tonight? Sonny, Kulusevski grew into the game. Richarlison, mixed bag. What's your thoughts on the front three today?
Yeah, I thought Son was a lot better today. He looked a lot more confident on the ball, and he wasn't actually being as predictable. I thought he was a little less predictable today with what he was doing. So he definitely looked a lot better. And also Kulu as well, I felt was good. He was holding up the ball. He was strong. And he made some good runs as well. Actually he didn't do too badly, I would say. Richie, he's a bit of a mixed bag. I think he's more frustrated with himself than anything. And I think when he came off the pitch, he showed that. And I think he showed that because he's frustrated with himself. I don't think he was angry with Postecoglou for subbing him. I think he was just angry with himself that he didn't score. And he needs to relax, because I think he's trying too hard. He's overthinking it. And I think that when you overthink things, it won't work for you, like it's just a lot harder. So I think he just needs to relax a little bit. But he didn't do great. He's all right. He didn't do bad. Like, he wasn't awful, because sometimes it's not about what he does on the ball. Sometimes it's off the ball what he does. So, and he does get back, and he helps defend as well. So defensively, he is there helping out defensively too. So I think that with Richie, we have to possibly give him that little bit more time, personally.
Yeah. It's a headache. You can see it's playing on the guy. Hopefully he can bag one soon. Even if he's got his back turned and it comes off him and goes in, he just needs a goal. Look, I agree with you, I thought Son was good today. I thought he mixed up his game very well, cutting inside, going on the outside, constantly getting on the ball and being direct, running at people. And Kulu, I thought, grew into the game. At the start, I found myself very frustrated. He was in early twice, and the same result. He didn't really know whether to shoot, didn't really know whether to pass. But, I think there's definitely signs of improvement from Kulu for sure. Jacob, what's your thoughts on the front three today, my man?
Either Richarlison is the most unlucky man in the game, or he's just not good. That's kind of where I'm at with him. I say give him one more match. That's just because, you know what? One more Hail Mary on the dude. It's Bournemouth away. Give him 60 minutes. If not, Sonny, it's yours now, and show me something. It's clearly not working. It hasn't worked. Only worked in the preseason, I think, versus Sea City Singapore Sailors or whatever. And outside of them, we ain't really seen much from him. So, he had a bunch of opportunities in preseason. He hasn't really had those opportunities, but when he does have his opportunities, it's just, again, like Hojbjerg, it's just frustrating. It's very frustrating because you look at the guy like, surely he's got something that he can do here, and he just doesn't every single time. Bad pass, bad first touch, bad space. And now he's in a good position, but now the ball went a little bit beyond where he was. So now if he was one step to the left, that's a tap in. And it's instances like that. I'm like, is he unlucky? The ball didn't bounce his way. But how many times do we say he's unlucky before we just say he's not working in that position? Kulusevski showed me again why I'm so concerned with him at that position. I thought outside of 2 runs from Kulusevski, I didn't really like anything else he did. He's been a concern at that position for me. His passing is good. He has some good passes, Kulu, today. I thought there was an instance in the first half where we critique him for only cutting in on his left foot. And I thought he's doing a little bit more in the sense of taking it on the right and keep driving it down and then looking for the cross. And I think if he gets comfortable more with his right foot, it can maybe come good for him, but I'm still reserved. I don't like to put players in boxes and say this is what Kulusevski can and cannot do. I just want to say, like, maybe he can do it, he just hasn't done it yet. And I'm kind of doing that with Richarlison. With Richarlison, I'm more like, you got 60 more minutes, pal, or you better start learning Chinese. Yeah. Whereas with Kulusevski, I'm like, you may have another 120 minutes before you need to learn Chinese. And so I'm patient a little bit more with Kulusevski because he hasn't been completely useless. I'll put it that way. And I'm not saying Richarlison's completely useless, but like, damn, you got to do something. When you get the chance, you got to do something. And he just hasn't.
Fair enough. Nick, do you agree with that assessment? Or, do you have a bit of a different assessment of the front three?
Slightly different, man. And you know what? I mean, we've been talking about Richie already, so I'm not going to really go into that, But as far as the wings go, Kulusevski, a lot of people saying he had a great game here. I thought he had a very good game. I don't think it was his best game. I don't think it was his worst at all. Second half Kulu, definitely better than first half Kulu. He looked more confident, looked like he knew what he was doing, but he was good at the things that he knows how to do well. He can hold the ball all the way to the byline, but then he's forced to make a decision as to whether he wants to cut in on his left, and there's never enough room anymore for him to actually do that and get a shot away. So then he's always looking to go all the way to the end and pick somebody out for the cross. So we got lucky today because he got one off and it worked. But what I really liked a lot better, especially in the second half, though, was second half Porro was a hell of a lot better than first half Porro was. Defensively, but also offensively. And I could see that there was some kind of instruction there for them to kind of really switch positions in a lot of ways, where Porro was playing way, way, way up top for a lot of the last half of that game, and Kulu was kind of providing the defensive cover. And then Porro would have to run back real quick. Kulu would never go all the way back. But there's something working there that I think actually may benefit both of them, where it'll get Porro more into the game as an attacker and, have Kulu's strengths, as holding on to the ball, bodying attackers. Speaking of bodying attackers, I was surprised that Luke Shaw bumped him off right at the beginning of the game like that. I didn't like that at all, and I think that Kulu didn't like that either, and he got his own back a couple of times. But I liked what I was seeing later in the game. As far as Son goes, what I'm seeing from Son now, as far as what his instructions are, I think, conjecture completely, but he's the fulcrum on that left-hand side. If he's got the space, he's the device that makes the machine work on that left-hand side. If he has the space, you get it to Son and let Son make the decision of who's going to go where and how the play is going to work out. It's not necessarily he's now the direct attacking threat. He's trying to put other people into play, such as Madison, and then create something. And he gets a chance to move to the center, but I think he still has to gel 100% with the role that he's got now, and then put the attacking threat back into Son's game then after that.
Yeah, for sure. Just quickly, Vandal says, see you, lads. Big up, my man. Great to have you in with us all day today and speak to you soon, my man. Big yourself up. Yeah, look, 100%, Nick. I couldn't agree more, my man. Couldn't agree more. Chris Peters says, When is Basuma and Sarr off to the AFCON? So is it Lo Celso, Bentancur, and Skip to fill in? Great chat. Big
That's a
up, Dave.
question, man. That is a very good question.
It's the end of January, start of February, when they are off. And I think Son, am I correct in saying Son could be off to the Asian Games too? Am I correct in saying
Yes,
that?
you are.
So, yeah, it's not going to be a fun period around that much. What I said to Tottenham is rack up as many points as you can now before we head into that January, February period. Because, as we know, the strength in depth isn't 100% there. So let's wait and see. Chris Peters, but big yourself up, my man. And really appreciate support. But look, Celso, Bentancur, I'm hoping Bentancur will be back hitting the ground running by then. If we get him in the midfield, we might not feel the Basuma's absence as much. Skip a lot of work to do. The Celso, let's wait and see if he lasts. There's a lot of rumors around his future, so let's wait and see whether he lasts or not, Chris.
And hey, let's not forget one young Hill Messi. Where does he fit into this pie that is being baked in front of our eyes? You know, when he comes back from his surgery, I mean, you know, does Ange toy around with how he wants to play him? Does he play him as an orthodox winger coming in off the left? Or, you know what, does he try a little Modric action and move him into the center? You know, because he can hold on to the ball, but maybe he doesn't have to rely on the physicality as much in the three-man midfield.
He can hold on the ball as long as you don't touch him. As soon as you touch him, he ain't holding on to nothing but the grass.
Come on.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's he has the ability to wiggle, and the wiggle can get you out of a lot of jams.
He does got a little bit of that salsa bachata on the sidelines. I like that part of it, but I just worry. That's why I was saying I think Solomon is the guy that everyone wants Hill Messi to be. I think Hill Messi can be who he is in La Liga, but I think in this league you need a little bit more girth, a little bit more weight to you, so when you get hit, you can take it and keep running, like we saw with Solomon today in his limited appearance. He played very strong on the ball. What people were saying was one of the best DMs last season made him look a little silly a few times.
I said the same thing, Jacob, when I got told, but you don't need it, because when you look at someone like Modric, he was slim, like he was very slight. But to be fair to him, as he got older, he actually did put on a bit more. He did get a bit tougher, and it isn't necessarily about weight; it's about muscle gain. Because that's what, if you've got somebody who's bigger, like who's not necessarily even big, who's got more muscle than you, you are going to get muscled off that ball. He needs to get some of that like good food into him, get himself fed up good proteins, and get himself a bit of muscle.
I agree with you, man. I just don't even know if it's. I don't need him to get bulky and muscular. Just play strong. Look at Pape Matar Sarr. Where's the muscle on this kid? But you can't get the ball. He can't win.
Yeah, but he is muscular. That's the thing, Jacob. He's slim but muscular. You can tell he's got the strength.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got that strength. Do you know what I'm saying? And to have that strength, you have to have that muscle, man. You can't be like a broomstick. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to have that bit more strength.
Yeah, and I do agree.
Need a bit of that.
I do agree. That's my only really other than the master class of the decision financially to get him and then loan him back and then send Lamela. That part's funny, but outside of that, Brian Hill, he's got ability. I just don't know that he's got that like. That's why I think Solomon is the guy that everyone wants Hill Messi to be. And so either way, if Hill Messi comes good, then we have two of them. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Oh, give me my throat's going. My throat is going. Davey H. Shout out to my friend Mark Andre. Big up, Mark. Hopefully you're keeping well, brother. There's your shout out. Big up, Davey H. By the way, my man. Big up, Davey and Mark. The boys must be on the beers. But look, guys, before we end off, let's go through it. Let's pick our man of the match. Vicario, absolutely outstanding today. Some incredible saves from this guy. Even some of the ones that were offside, absolutely incredible. Stood up when we needed him, made a very important save early on against Marcus Rashford. All around excellent from Vicario. You've got Sonny, who for me, and look, the panel have said this as well, an absolute driving force. Right down that left-hand side all game long, every time getting on the ball direct, inside, outside, and largely made a nuisance with himself. Was unlucky not to come away with a goal, apart from a brilliant block by Luke Shaw. Then you've got Basuma. Look, for me, I think, it took him a while to get going, but once he got going in that second half, he took the game to United, and they just could not handle the bazooka. And then you've got the one and only Pape Matar Sarr, who for me, this is my man of the match. I'm picking him. I've been a big believer in this guy, big backer behind this guy. And today, he done it all. Got on the ball, played ball, drove at people, scored a goal. Lucky not to have a couple of other goals, actually. And for me, all round, done exactly what Ange wants him to do. He pressed high, turned ball over, and got stuck in. Absolutely brilliant from the kid. We're talking about a 19-year-old kid, putting in performances that we haven't seen in a long time in a Tottenham jersey at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, absolutely dominating some of the best midfielders in today's game with Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, people like that. So absolutely brilliant performance from the kid, and I'm going with him as my man of the match. Mia, who's your man of the match? And then after that, where can people find you?
It's got to be Pape Matar Sarr for me. Absolute brilliant player. Absolutely love the boy. So yeah, it's got to be me. It's got to be him for me.
Love it. Where can people find you also, Mia?
Over at Spurs Between the Lines. I've changed my time, so I'm now doing 5 o'clock UK time PM on the Sunday. Thursdays for post-match and pre-match if the game's Saturday, and if it's Sunday game I'll be doing Monday, Fridays, and then obviously cup games, it would just depend when the cup games are, but I'm still doing my daily transfers as well, and I will be covering press conferences now too. So yeah, I'll be doing, there's still plenty of content that I'll be bringing you even during the season when there's no more transfer news. I'll still be putting plenty of content out there, so yeah.
Love it. People, please do get over and check out Mia's channel. She's been absolutely brilliant, giving up her time, coming on here, sharing her opinions, and she always comes on, creates great discussion, great debate, and that's all you can ever ask for. And if you go over and check out her channel, she's had a number of great guests on, myself, Jack, Shawnee, Flav, and there's been a number of people on there, so get over there, check it out, and then hit that subscribe button. At the end of the day, she's a Spurs fan, and that's all that matters. We look after our own. So get over there and share that love. And Jacob, my man, who's your man in the match, and where can people find you, brother?
As a founding father of the Goalkeepers Union, I cannot look past my man Vicario in between the sticks. I honestly, you need a goalkeeper to keep you in the game, and he did just that. 6 saves on the day, 4 from inside the box, and I would say should be 5. That offside, if he saves it, let's just say he was onside. How about that? Because what a top quality save. He had 3 phenomenal saves. I know one was offside, but if you even take that away, 2 phenomenal saves. I'm looking at both. I remember there was one in the first half and then another one in the second half that I said, wow, I don't know that Forster, Hugo, or anyone else that we in the academy that is getting to that ball. The acrobat, the announcers were kind of taking the mick out of him early on, saying, I don't know if you need to fly around like that. Nick, I think you probably heard the same thing on the American broadcast. Heavily United favored both of them, speaking from a point of view of a United fan or like their work for the team or something. But aside from that,
absolutely bias,
major bias in the American broadcasting over here. But regardless, Vicario, cat in the box. He's pouncing everywhere. He's jumping. I don't care what they wanted to say. All I know is there was 2 absolutely phenomenal saves out of those 6 that absolutely kept us into the match. Because in those junctures, if we go down 1-0, completely different match. They squared up 1-1, completely different match. But we got to see what happens when we're in control and we just completely dominate. And that's because Vicario was a madman between the sticks today. Long may it continue. And he answered a lot of doubters and questions. People are worried about him. He's too crazy. Look at the man. He can't be tamed. But you know what? Some stallions don't need to be Broncos. Let's put it that way.
For sure. Look, absolutely great performance from Venom. Long may it continue. I said going into the game that, last season, that's games where Hugo Lloris let us down most is in these big games. That's where his mistakes came and haunted us the most. And I said it'd be a true test of character and mentality from Vicario. And he stood up and he answered that. Jacob, what's going on over at the United Spurs of America, my man?
Will not have anything tonight. There's plenty of people doing content, a lot of content to digest tonight. But tomorrow I will be back at some point with my little daily stream. 5 to 6 days a week I go live, either with a guest or solo. Usually about 50-50. Half the time I have a guest, half the time I go solo. But it's always a good time over there. So you can catch me at United Spurs of America. Got something coming tomorrow, and then Monday we'll keep the regular train going. But yeah, nothing tonight. I felt like I've said my piece. I get to sleep on it, and then I'll digest it a little bit more tomorrow for my channel. But big ups, Dave. Thanks for having me on, man. Always a pleasure.
No, thank you very much for your time this evening, Jacob. I enjoy having you on these shows, my man. Everybody, please get over, check out Jacob's channel, United Spurs of America. The link is there in the chat for you guys, so get on it. Get over there and smash that subscribe button. Again, he's another one he gives up a lot of time to help us out over here, so please share that love around and get over there and check out his content. Big up, Jacob. Really appreciate the time, my man.
Thank
Nick,
you.
last but not least, brother,
look, man. I was gonna big up to you, Jacob, because I'm gonna go with Sarr, but just in case it was a straight 3 stars in a row, I was gonna go Slick Vic because, man, I was very impressed. It's just he just looked a lot more comfortable too. A lot of people brought up in the Brentford match. He just looked like he was a little bit anxious on the ball and wasn't sure what he's doing. I didn't really see any of that today. Maybe that's just kind of the way his face looks sometimes, but I really didn't even see any of that today. And there were some bangers right at him that, last season, they would have been turned right in the back of the net on purpose by our goalkeeper. I don't want to go into that, but I feel a lot more comfortable right now, especially because Van de Ven didn't have a terrible game, but he didn't have the best game in the world. I mean, he was still a little bit he was a little green. It's like, the occasion, I'm going to say again, first home match against Manchester United. It's going to make you a little bit nervy. What kept us in the game and gave us the solid clean sheet was the man behind the sticks himself. So, shout out to him, but I'm going to still go man of the match, Sarr boy. He was asked a lot of him, and he delivered everything that was asked of him, and he came up with a goal. So, man, I can't, he's the man of the match for me today.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, he's got to steal that show today. Look, I got Vicario there as well, Nick, and Jacob, I agree with you both on an absolutely brilliant performance. But look, I don't know why Jacob's off. Whatever he's on, give it to me. Sarr was man of the match today, for sure. For sure. We've got a super chat here from Jerome, and he says, what are your thoughts on Hojbjerg? Couple of bad passes, but I don't know whether he is not fit for this system or not. Look,
right.
I'll take this one, my man. Jerome, look, I thought largely he was actually good when he came on, to be honest with you. I thought he'd done a lot of nice things, getting on the ball, zipping it about. But it's that one stupid giveaway he gave away at a critical point in the game, right near the end, that is going to be highlighted, unfortunately. But look, can he fit into this system? Yeah, I think he can. People go on like he's this awful footballer. They forget he came through that Bayern Munich academy. You're not a bad footballer if you've come through that Bayern Munich academy. And for me, look, it's all about whether Atletico stump up the feet or not. Could it have been a good buy for Hojbjerg like it was for Kane against Shakhtar? Who knows? Let's wait and see what happens on that one, though, Jerome. If he stays around, I'll be absolutely delighted, to be honest with you. I like Hojbjerg. But big up Jerome, my man. And he also says, with Bissouma, all I can say, we had a beast on a leash for a whole season. Now that he is free, just look how dominant he is. Jerome.
Well put.
Yeah. He looks like a man reborn. Look, Nick, I'll let you take this because my throat is honestly going to go, my man. But he looks like a guy reborn, right?
Listen, I mean, obviously we've come to realize that Antonio Conte is just not the easiest person to play for, and lots been said about, well, if you're a professional, then you learn how to play in a particular system. But you might want a full 11 of Harry Kanes. But, at some point in time, that's going to let you down if, you want somebody to have the speed to get past the defender at some point in time. Some people are just better at certain things. Clearly, Yves Bissouma in the center of the pitch leading the line forward, holding on to the ball, and letting him express himself. Which is, I think, what was lacking last season is the expression of creativity. That is a joy to behold, man, and long may it continue.
Yeah.
I want to
can I just-
caveat that with Basuma had long COVID. He missed a lot of
Right,
preseason with
right.
long COVID, and we don't know the full. Scientists right now don't know the full extent of what long COVID can do to your body in the long-term sense. But what we do know is that he was kept out of the squad for quite some time, and when he came back, he just didn't look like he could run. And that, to me, was not because of Conte; it's because of COVID. So, like, I give him a little bit of a break as far as us saying he can't fit a Conte system. I think he has enough quality. He could have been a good enough player. I mean, look at Bentancur. You can't keep talent down by having shitty tactics. Eventually, the good will come out, and I think we could have seen that from Basuma last season, regardless of play style, because he is that talented of a player. I just think it was the COVID thing, personally.
Thank you for reminding me of that, because I often forget that too, Jacob. And the upshot of that too is we now know that once you get over long COVID, you can sauce it up and down the pitch all you want.
Apparently, at least if you're Yves Basuma, you can.
Right.
Maybe.
Mia, I know you wanted to come in there as well.
Yeah, what I was going to say is quickly about Hojbjerg is that for me, if you think about it, once we get Benny back, is he really going to get into the team once we've not got AFCON no more? We've got one game a week. I just can't see that we've got really because we've got Sarr and we've got Skip. So like I don't think Skip should get in above Sarr, or I don't think Hojbjerg should be in above Sarr or Benny. So I feel like that maybe he's a bit kind of not required.
Look, he might not be. He might
the thing
not
is,
be.
he did a great job. I'm not trying to diss that he did a great job for the systems that we played, but I just think that in this system, not necessarily is the system he fits, and also will he even get picked because we've got other midfielders. Also, we've got Lo Celso still. We don't know if we're keeping Lo Celso. So if we keep Lo Celso, we're going to be stacked in the midfield.
Yeah, look, and that's what it comes down to, what midfielders, Ange Postecoglou's going to get rid of. And I think all depends whether the people interested in Celso stump up first or the people interested in Hojbjerg stump up first. But we'll wait and see what happens anyway. We've got 13 days left in the window. Let's wait and see what happens. And then we also have Christopher LaPlante, new YouTube member. Big up, Christopher, my man. Really appreciate the support, brother. Hopefully, you enjoyed being a part of this community, my man. We've been pumping out members content only for members' eyes. People seem to be enjoying it, so hopefully you enjoy that. We got plenty of stuff over there for you members to keep you occupied, exclusive for you. And welcome to the Irish Hotspur community, my man. And hopefully you're around here for quite some time. And hopefully we see you on the fan show on Monday. Big up, Christopher. But look, we are going to wrap it up there. Look, my voice is going. I've been at it since 11 this morning on Savage Channel, and I'm still going here now. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to all the guests today, from the pre-match build-up to the post-match show here with Nick, Mia, and Jacob. Thank you all for your time today. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody out there. There's people here that have, been with us right throughout the day, from the pre-match to the watch-along to the post-match. Your guys' support is absolutely unrivaled. And myself and Jacko are blessed. And a massive thank you to everybody who's donated to the channel today. People donating out memberships and everything else. You have no idea how much it keeps us going. And as you can see, the more help we get, the more we improve. Look at the graphics, absolutely everything else. So big yourself up, and we'll speak again tomorrow. Stay tuned for Twitter Reacts. That'll be dropping tomorrow morning. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Nick, before we go, Jazzy Jones saying, what about you? Why don't you have a channel?
Oh, man, because I am all about the Irish Hotspur love. In fact, I'm going to put my tag from now on, the Irish loving Hotspur. That's me. You can find me in the back end over here, man. I like working with these guys. I like the people that are around them. I like the people I meet through them, man. And David and Jack have just become too close to me in my heart for me to just even think about doing something else, man. So I like being on the back end here. But on that note, Dave, I'm going to leave you with a little ditty for you and for our buddy Chris way up north, man. He was asking for a little something extra, so I got a little something for you. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going
Going
nowhere.
nowhere.
We never stop because it's Ange ball for life.
I'm all over that one. Nico, you've got the capabilities. Let's turn this one into a song, my man. Let's get it out there over socials. I am all over it. All over it. I absolutely love it. But look, your boy's dying out. He needs his batteries changed. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Everyone, go and enjoy that victory today. Savor it. It's been a long time since we've won like that in that sort of style. It's a statement. Premier League, are you watching? Ange Ball, what you going to do about it? Come on, you Spurs, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Quiz.
Come on, you Spurs.
In Ange we trust.
Never stop.
Terror!